Hey, what's up? It's Jake, and we're going to move on to automated tests in Terraform. So this section is going to be very code heavy. So uh, if you want to get hands-on keyboard experience at Terraform, this is a great place to do it. Testing is a lot of work. Um, I did a little example in Ruby. We're going to want to try to write in Go as much as possible. There's a lot of Go in Terraform, so we want to get used to that, but it's never a bad idea to know some Ruby too. It does come up from time to time. The idea with automated testing is you write the code to validate the way the real code behaves, or at least the way it should behave. So um, the like kind of where we're going with this to kind of give this away is that we want to set up a CI server, continuous integration server, that can run all these tests that we're writing after every single commit, and then like it can either revert or fix any commits that cause tests to fail, so your code is always working. um, so that's the idea. Broadly speaking, there's three types of tests. You've got unit tests, integration tests, and end-to-end tests. So the unit test basically verifies functionality of a single small unit of code, and that means different things to different people, but in like a broad stroke kind of explanation, it's usually like a function or a class, like really small unit. If there's any external dependencies, like with databases or whatever, they get replaced with like a mock database, for example, that kind of allow you to control the behavior. And kind of like we did with Terraform, they provide hard-coded responses, let you test everything to handle whatever scenario you need to handle. Integration tests, on the other hand, kind of verify that multiple units work together correctly. So unit test, individual unit, integration, units together. It's usually code that validates like I said, all the classes work together, all the functions work together, and they have like a mix of real dependencies and mocks. So if you're testing an app with a DB, you might want to test it with a real database, but other dependencies like authentication, you can kind of pass some kind of uh, fixed state or variable or whatever. And then end-to-end test involves running the entire architecture for your app, data stores, load balancers, everything off, and validate the entire system works. These three different test types are done from like an end user perspective. So you'd want to use like Python Selenium to automate like how somebody interacts with your front end. So if they click on something, you want to use Selenium to run, hey, go click all these links. Did you get any errors? So end-to-end tests typically use real systems everywhere, no mocks. The infrastructure looks just like production. It might be smaller to save money. Like you don't need to auto scale it to 100 instances to know that everything works correctly. You could do like 10, right? Um, so yeah, so this next section we're going to go through how to write all this stuff. Um, I could use some Ruby examples if that helps. If you feel like that helps, I can totally do that. But essentially, I can kind of skip the Ruby stuff. So if you want it, let me know. But since you've seen one, you kind of get the idea. Essentially, um, in Terraform Up and Running 2, they use Ruby to kind of compare, well, how does this work in Ruby? Now let's see how it works in Terraform. So I don't assume that you know Ruby. I did one example so you could see it, but I'm not going to assume that you know Ruby or need to go learn Ruby. Um, but I might use it a little bit if it's applicable. But to save time, I'll go ahead and just kind of go through the Terraform stuff. But yeah, a lot of coding up ahead. So, anyways, that's your kind of overview of the different types of unit tests for automated tests, CI. So let me know if you got any questions, and if not, then I'll see you in the next one.